Hey, welcome back. My name is Alex. I'm a freelance videographer and filmmaker, and today we are taking a look at Spinebreaker Explained by a Korean by DKTV. If you haven't seen my reaction to the music video and behind the scenes, go ahead and check that out. But let's jump right on into this video. This is like one of the only videos I didn't take a look at the lyrics beforehand, and I guess they contrast the video a lot. So let me put on these for you.
Title name for new armies or casual listeners that don't
very
look into
strong
the lyrics that much. The title might be a little misleading or misunderstood in the way of maybe BTS crushing their haters' spines. I doubt that anybody would actually think like that.
Yeah,
but
the name is a
still,
bit
without
aggressive.
knowing the Korean cultural references behind the story, this song is a little bit hard for foreigners to fully comprehend.
Okay.
But before we go on to the explanation itself, let's give a short shout out to our sponsor. 우선 저희 Explain 시리즈를 사랑해주시는 많은 구독자분들께 감사하다는 말씀을 먼저 드리면서 저희 영상을 보시면서 좋아하는 아이돌 그룹을 봄과 동시에 영어 공부까지 된다라는 긍정적인 효과를 말씀해주신 분도 있었는데요. 혹시나 저희처럼 영어를 잘하고 싶으시다면 하루 10분 야나두를 추천합니다. 핵심만 찝어주는 강의 시간이 10분밖에 안 돼서 매일 하는데 부담이 없고 1:1 보이스 케어를 통해 발음 코칭도 받을 수 있으며 완강을 한 수강생들에겐 장학금도 지급된다고 합니다. 꼭 한번 봐주시고 영어를 저희처럼 잘하고 싶다면 야나두를 추천합니다.
너도 나도 You can do 야나두.
수십짜리 신발에 또 수백짜리 패딩 수십짜리 시계에 또 으스대지 괜히 교육은 산으로 가고 학생도 산으로 가.
Extremely expensive shoes, padding jackets, and watches.
Right.
These are all everyday objects that students use in their daily lives.
Are there
Education is
expensive
going up the
versions of that?
mountain, students are also going up the mountain. Going up the mountain is a Korean idiom called 사공이 많으면 배가 산으로 간다, which is translated into too many cooks spoil the broth.
Oh,
So
like too
basically,
many cooks
BTS
in the
is trying
kitchen?
to criticize the students alongside with the Korean education system that both parties are going in the wrong direction.
Okay. Essentially, class is divided exactly into two: those who have and those who don't, those who wear the shoes and don't, those who wear the clothes and don't, and those who try so
These
hard
lines
to get
express
these
what
things.
school looks like these days in a nutshell. Rich students and poor students can be identified by whether they have expensive clothes or
Right.
not. For students
Right.
who cannot afford these expensive clothes, they'll do whatever they can to get their hands on these particular brands or clothes.
Yeah, I can definitely see that a lot, especially here in America. Luxury items are such like a big status symbol, and like people will spend their entire paychecks on like some Louis Vuitton or Gucci shirt or something. There's no reason for a teenager to have a $300 belt, but I don't know, I see that a lot here. Like a lot. Big for it.
BTS now tries to touch the conscience of these students about their behavior trying to get expensive apparel.
Okay.
How they're sensitive towards trends and appearance, and how they whined and begged and asked their parents again and again to buy them these expensive clothes.
Right. Okay. After seeing your parents' curved spines, you're so heartless, you complain all my friends have it. Curved spines. That's like, curved spines has to be because they're like at a desk or a warehouse or something, right?
Finally, the word spinebreaker appears. The phrase spinebreaker comes from the Korean idiom 등골이 휘다, which literally means your back gets bent because you work so much. Usually, hard physical labor is done by bending your back.
That makes
Thus,
sense.
if you work too
that
much,
makes sense. It all makes sense. Spine breaker. So is the song then talking, it's all centered around like kids, right? So is the song then talking about like your parents working so hard and breaking their backs only for you to take advantage of that just to live outside of your means and present yourself as like richer than you are or something?
your spine would permanently become bent. So, BTS is calling kids who beg their parents to buy them expensive clothes spine breakers. Not only the kids, but certain items themselves are now officially called spine breakers because parents need to work so hard to afford these items.
Wow.
So these so-called spine
Okay.
breaker kids don't care how hard their parents try to provide them food or necessities, but rather pester their parents by saying, "But all of my friends have it too."
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. I wish, I don't know why I didn't read the lyrics. I wish I would have read them beforehand because it all makes sense. Like they're fancy clothes and doing all this like goofy stuff. Like they're literally wearing the clothes that these kids probably wish that they could have. Like their jackets must have been so expensive, and yet they're like goofing off and they don't have like that cockiness that like a like a rich person has, right? Because you don't wear that jacket, you won't freeze to death before you fill your padded jacket with goose down, fill your head with some sense
But why
before it's too
specifically
late.
padded jackets? It's because students in Korea wear school uniforms, but in the winter it gets too cold, so the most convenient body warmer
those are the
would be
North
a padded
Face?
jacket. A few years ago, the padded jacket market wasn't that diverse,
Yeah,
and
North
particular brands were lead brands in the industry, such as the notorious North Face. These padded jackets had and still do have an extremely high price.
Of course.
The average price range would go from $500 to $1,000.
Are they
even had
really
ranks
that
in the
expensive?
paddings.
There's what? Okay, they're not that expensive. I was gonna say like $300 I could see, but not $500. Yeah, $300. I could see that one. Okay.
Depending on how much duck down was inside. But nowadays, it's no longer about
Really?
particular brands and clothing. The spine breaking has evolved an extremely high price. The average price range would go from $500 to $1,000. They even had ranks in the paddings,
Had ranks?
depending on how much duck down was inside. But
What does that
nowadays,
even
it's no
mean?
longer about particular brands and clothing. The spine breaking has evolved and expanded into products such as smartphones.
I can
so
see that.
obviously, the
see
luxurious
that.
clothing was a burden to parents that were not in the position to afford it, but nevertheless their kids demanded them to buy it.
Right.
So that's why the last lyric says, rather than filling your jacket with duck down, fill your head first with some common sense or conscience before it's too late.
Okay. Feel good putting on your dirty clothes. Here's something different. What's wrong with you? You're crazy, baby. That will suffocate your heart. Dirty clothes.
The chorus is literally BTS being satirical about the kids that feel good and feel swag in their dirty clothes. It's dirty clothes because they earned it in a dirty way, not by earning the money themselves, but by breaking their parents.
I originally interpreted it the opposite, like them praising the kids that can't afford the stuff, so they have to wear like dirty clothes because they can't afford like new clothes. That's what I interpret it as, but that makes sense. That's like dirty money.
The expression that the dirty clothes will tighten up your heart means that eventually the kids will feel guilty and bad about wearing their clothes.
What's up, kid? You're so cool these days. You're being over nosy about other people's lives while you keep saying those meaningless words. I'm just using the money I
In the
earn.
second verse, BTS disses the kid haters. 배가 부르다 means that you have it easy and you have no worries of getting food in your mouth. Kids have their bellies full all due to their parents.
Right.
Thus, they don't know how to do anything but to just feed on provided food. But they're being nosy and saying things that they wouldn't be able to say in front of the actual person, bluffing.
I don't understand that part, but okay.
You'll only be satisfied when the whole population of Korea dresses the same as you. This is satire against how kids think wearing the same things look cool. RM then goes on by saying, mind your own business, fashion, and life.
I really want it. What do I do? Even friends pour it and me have it. I have to buy it if I don't want to be an outcast. People my age are all like
When
this.
RM's voice changes into a comical version, he is impersonating and mocking the kids by imitating what they would actually say, such as, but I want it so much, what should I do? Friends poorer than me even have it. If I don't want to be an outcast, I need to buy it. At this age, we're all supposed to be like this.
Yeah, I don't know. Yes, I'm loco. Is it no-go? I know they ain't cheap, but they got mochos. But 난 내 할 일은 잘해 부모님 듣고 I'm
mochos.
나이 먹고 아직도 방구석에 no.
RM says people might call him crazy or a no-no and criticize him for wearing expensive clothes. But he also points out that at least he's attractive, and most of all, he's not a spine breaker that begs for his parents to buy him clothes.
Oh, saying like RM himself? Is that what he's saying? Like RM himself is being a hypocrite because he wears expensive clothes? I mean exactly what he just said. He's not really, because he actually earned it.
The killing point of the song. The real spine breaker is you, who's still in the corner of your room at that age. Which means you can't do anything by yourself. So why don't you just shut up and respect your parents by helping them not suffer by paying your stupid padding jacket.
This song makes so much more sense. It makes so much more sense. As always, I appreciate the guys at DKTV. I would be pretty lost without some of their explanations, so thank you. I feel like this song just relates. It still relates. It's still like common. You see this all the time. But that's about it for today. So I want to give a big thank you to all my Patreon supporters, specifically Elizabeth, Jemmy, Kimberly, Lisa, Lucas, Melissa, Miss Heiju, and Victoria. If you're not already subscribed and you want more BTS videos, go ahead and subscribe. And all right.